Hey, remember everybody, if you haven't listened to last week's episode, make sure you do so. We're talking about the Rodney Cook Memorial Hunt, and this is the full episode where I talk with Gary Cook. It is a really, really fun talk, but make sure you head on over to a couple websites and support the charity that the Rodney Cook Memorial Hunt is supporting. The website is foreverfriendsappeal.co.uk. That is all one word, foreverfriendsappeal.co.uk. And you can find the link to the Dyson Cancer Center there as well. And if you would like to make a donation, and please help out, make sure you head on over to justgiving.com and type in Rodney Cook Memorial Rally, and you'll come up with a place where you can make a donation straight to the rally without actually being there. But you can help build this brand new cancer treatment center. It is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Make sure you guys help us out. The interview that you guys heard in the episode last week was cut a lot. This week, I'm going to be presenting the complete and uncutted talk with Gary. Such a great guy. Really fun talk. So hope you guys enjoy. And make sure you head on over to the justgiving.com and the foreverfriendsappeal.co.uk. But for now, let's get into the show.
Let's dig it up.
I think we are green to green. First of all, I want to thank everybody who is going to be joining us live. You guys are the reason why I do this. You're as I said on another podcast today, the wind beneath my wings. I hate to use that, but it's a great show. But anyway, thank you so much. This is another portion that I'm recording for a episode that's going to be dropping later, probably within the next week. And this is a very important episode. So we're doing this extremely touchy-feely as we do this, because I want to make sure that every point that we are covering in this gets brought across. And it is an extremely important one for myself, as I know people who have suffered and die of cancer, along with 42, as you've heard in, for the people who are listening to this edited together. 42 was just talking about how she knew a woman who died in her 30s and left a 9-year-old child behind. So it's a tough, very tough world that we're living in. Our life expectancy is expanding, but the chances of us getting cancer is rising exponentially. So this is why one of the reasons why our main guest for this episode, is coming in to talk with us about some things that are very important for him, as well as it is for us. Cancer research and cancer treatment are two of the most important things, and we're making huge strides in cancer treatment, especially within the last year alone. But it comes from donations and people actually understanding exactly what's happening, and it's a very important subject. With me today is, as he said, XP aficionado, Gary Cook, also known as Cookie. He's an avid XP user. Really good friends with one of our friends, XP Gary. He's out there. Was metal detecting with him today, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But Gary, thank you so much for coming on to this show. This is a very important one, and I know this is important to you as well.
Yeah, it's good to be here, and thanks for asking me on, Lance. It's really appreciated, and it is a subject that is close to a lot of people. So, and it's really kind of you to ask me on.
Not a problem. In fact, it's my pleasure to have you on. I think we've talked over the course of the last couple of years, especially right before you started your event, I think it was last year, was the first one.
That's right. Yeah.
So we talked a little bit over this before, but this is the first time we've actually been able to get a show together that really dives deep into exactly what the memorial hunt is and where the money and the charities involved, what they're doing with it. But we'll get to that in a little bit. What I want to do is I want people to find out exactly who you are. So let exactly tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into metal detecting.
Yeah. Well, as I say, you called me by my nickname Cookie. A lot of people know me as Cookie. Gary Blackwell, always calls me Cookie. But how did I get into metal detecting? Well,
Yeah.
it's funny. I get asked this quite a lot, actually. And the way I got into metal detecting was quite simple. I always had a passion for history ever since I was a kid at school. I've always been interested in history. In fact, there was only ever two subjects at school that I was really showed any form of interest in. One of them was sport. I loved playing sport, mainly football or soccer, as it's called in America. I played at a reasonable level. I wasn't, good enough to go on and sort of make money out of it or anything, but I played at a good, strong level. And the other subject, as I say, was history. Absolutely adored history, all forms of history, Lance, going back to paleontology type history, collecting fossils as a child. I was very lucky that my father worked for a company who owned quarries, and occasionally I was allowed to go into the quarry and I would pick up fossils and even flint arrowheads dating back, to the Neolithic times, which was amazing to find.
Wow.
And that sort of installed a love of history into me. And it progressed from there, really, Lance, and to the point where I can always remember bumping into a guy. I was walking the family dog many, many years ago, one evening after school, and walking past some local fields, and I just saw this bloke just wandering around in the field, and I sort of had to take a second look, really, to thought, well, what was he doing? And he looked like he had some form of stick or something in his hand. So as I got closer, he was walking sort of down the field towards the gate. And as I got towards the gate, we sort of almost came within a few feet of each other. And I plucked up the courage to say, excuse me, what are you actually doing? And he explained he was metal detecting and showed me some coins that he'd found. I can't really remember the coinage now, but I think there was a couple of Roman coins in amongst of it. And after speaking to him, walking home, I just kept saying to myself in my head, I've got to get myself one of those. I've got to have one of those. That's incredible. I'd never really even heard of metal detecting until then. And it's suddenly all I could think of. And you know what it's like when you're a child. I was only about 15.
Yeah.
And all I could think of was I had to have a metal detector. At all costs, I had to have a metal detector. So I did odd jobs for my dad and for my mum and my grandparents. I did everything I could to scrape together. And eventually my dad said, well, how much have you got saved up then, son? And I said, I got £45, Dad. So he said, right, okay, let's have a look and see what we can get. So we got a second-hand C-scope. And this tells you how long ago this was. It was a C-scope CS660 or something like that. And it was a second-hand one that Dad had seen in one of the treasure hunting magazines, I think, at the back. And he bought it. And I think it cost us about £100 back then, which was quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that was my very first metal detector. And I just couldn't wait. I remember going into my grandparents'. They had a really old house, and they had about an acre of land attached to the house. And I found my very first Queen Victoria penny in my granddad's garden, and that was just incredible.
How old was it? Bunhead or later?
It was a bunhead, an early one. Yes, it was an early one, and it was just the most amazing feeling I've ever had. Obviously I I was digging up rubbish, really, bits of iron and nails and foil and all of this sort of the usual rubbish that we find. But this Victoria, I've still got that penny. I've still got it. And it's in, over the years, obviously, in this country, you find hundreds and hundreds of Victoria pennies and things. But that is one that I've always kept because it was my very first.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, I remember mine as well. I remember I was.
I think we do, don't we?
Yeah, I'm trying to say I'm looking in my coin book right now. I should still have it as well. But I was out there. It is right there. So I was out metal detecting with my little cheap knockoff Garrett Ace 150. That's how I got into the hobby. I got a Chinese-made knockoff, and yeah, but it was horrible. It got signals, but it always registered as silver for everything. And pinpointing with it, it was impossible. It was somewhere in the coil area. But I found a late 1800s Fenning coin, or it was at that time. It was what. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think it was German Fennings at that point. I'm looking at it. So yeah, but that was my very first one. Yeah, it's right here. I don't have my reading glasses.
I can take you to the exact spot where I found it. Obviously, I'd have to get permission from the new owners of the house to go into the garden. But my very first hammered coin, I can always remember finding that, and I can take you to the exact spot in the field where I found it, and to this day I can remember exactly where it was. I think we all remember our first sort of coin or that sort of thing. But as I say, that was really how I got into metal detecting, and I was hooked then. Absolutely.
Now
every minute, every free day I had, get out and do some detecting.
Yeah, you were starting with that older one. So when did you start upgrading your machines?
Well, I used that one for quite a while, actually, probably a year or so. And I got a part-time job and things progressed. So I decided that I started reading, the magazines that were there, the Treasure Hunter, and I think the Searcher was out then as well. So I was reading the magazines and I come across bits and pieces. And as time moved on, I think I moved over to I think it was an Arado, I think I bought after that.
Really?
Which was a big chunky beast. Had an Arado. Didn't really get on too well with the Arado, although it was in metal detecting terms, it was an old faithful, wasn't it? The Arado. People still swear by them now. They still use them, I think, now. Even still to this day, they still use the Arado.
No, I'm not sure of the name of that one, but I probably recognize it if I saw it.
Oh, you'd probably recognize it if you saw it. But then I started moving quite quickly through metal detectors, actually. As soon as, I was one of these people that, got to have another one, got to have the latest one, or got to try and have this one. And I went through, I think I had a Tesoro, I think I had. Mm-hmm. And then eventually, back sometime in the mid to sort of 80s, was it late 80s, I came across an XP ADX 250. I think it might have been sometime in late 80s or early 90s. I can't quite remember. But anyway, and I bought my first XP, and that really was an eye opener for me because this machine was very light, so easy to swing, and the signals and the tones were just so clear. It's incredible.
Yeah,
absolutely incredible.
And they still are to this day.
Yeah.
But you've been using XP pretty much only since that day.
Since that day, when I first bought that, I have never used anything else. And I've only ever used 3 XP machines, and that was the ADX. Then after that, I went to the Goldmax Power. And anyone who knows me knows how much in love I was with my Goldmax Power. That was... It's like my younger brother. I suppose it's the only way to look at that. We had many adventures together, me and my Goldmax Power, and you only have to ask Nigel Ingram at Regden's how much I loved my Gold Max Power.
Everybody does. We were talking about this a little bit offline. Everybody loves the Gold Max, and I think that's why XP decided to use the Gold Max as one of the programs in the Deus, because it was like the perfect machine, and then they created the next perfect machine.
Exactly. If I was probably anything to go by using me as a template, if you said my story was pretty much the same as most XP Gold Max users. It was the hardest decision I've ever made, was letting go of my Gold Max Power. My Gold Max Power was an extension of me, and I was an extension of it. And we were in tune together. We were at one and at peace with each other. We were. It brought balance to the force for me. It was incredible. It was me and my machine in the field together. And the day Nigel Regdon's informed me of the Deus, I can always remember reading about the Deus and hearing about this amazing magical machine that was wireless and lightweight. And although you had wireless headphones, obviously, the Gold Max, I didn't really have enough money to be able to buy a Deus and keep the Gold Max. So I was betraying my brother in arms. It was almost like an act of betrayal the day I released my Gold Max.
And he ended up buying a French mistress with it, so it works out.
It was a hard decision to make, and it still pains me to this day when I think about it. But Nigel said to me, "You've got the Gold Max Power within your Deus.
Yeah.
All you're losing is the actual the machine. You're losing the coil and the machine, but you're still keeping the Gold Max Power. It's within your Deus." And I think one of the reasons why they may have done that was what you just said, was because there would have been hundreds and thousands maybe of Gold Max Power's users who were so connected to their power, they didn't want to lose it. So this was a way of them not losing the power, but also buying a Deus. So you could do it that way. So look, XP was saying, look, Gold Max Power users, don't not buy a Deus because you don't want to lose your Gold Max Power. We're giving you your Gold Max Power, but we're also giving you a Deus.
Yeah, it's truly exactly what they were doing. It's like they built a brand new car, but they integrated the old car into it as well. It runs great. The Gold Max is a great program on the machine, and there's nothing wrong with the Deus whatsoever.
I was using the Gold Max Power program today, funnily enough. I use it quite regularly. I still find the tone sounds of that quite easy listening, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Tones are just tones. Tones do not make you find more. You sort the tones out to your own style. Everybody's hearing is slightly different. Some people can hear high-pitched noises easier, some can hear lower-pitched noises. So being able to adjust the tones gives you that advantage. You adjust them to your own personal feelings, really, I suppose, your own personal hearing.
Yeah.
And I swear by two-tone programs. I have my own Cookies two-tone program that I developed myself, and when I do the XP Skills School with Gary, if he ever needs me to help him, and occasionally he'll say, "Cookie, can you come and help me on a skills score or something?" I will go and help him. Or if he asks me to go to a rally with him and work with him on the XP stand, like Detectival and things, people say to me, "Can you put your two-tone program in?" Because I find that easier for people who are just maybe starting out with the Deus to understand the Deus easier. Don't run before you can walk. Gary's Ultimate program and Gary's Hot program are brilliant programs. Absolutely, I love using them. There's a time and a place that I will use those programs. But when you first start out with the Deus, I say to people, look, let's just simplify things a little bit. Let's just make your detecting career with your XP Deus that much easier to start with, because then you're not going to get stressed and you're not going to get wound up. And it's actually funny. I was the latest copy of Treasure Hunting magazine, which came out, I wrote an article in there for Detectival, but there's also another article in there by somebody else. And I was just reading it last night, and I suddenly come across my name, and I thought, what? And he said when he first started with the Deus, he found it very complicated to get to grips with the tones and the sounds. And he said, until I met Gary Cook at a rally once, and he very kindly sat me down for half an hour and talked to me and explained the Deus to me. He put in a program for me. He told me to simplify my detecting experience with the Deus. And he said, ever since that day, it was like somebody had switched my Deus on for the first time, and a light bulb moment came on. And he said, and my detecting was so much easier. And it was exactly what I was trying to install to people, that there's no such thing as the ultimate program or the ultimate settings or the best settings. It's whatever settings are required for that particular field or that particular style of detecting, or the contamination in the ground, the mineralization, the coke aspect, iron, trash. Everything can comply into one, and you then have to adjust your machine to suit. And I find a two-tone program, good or bad signal, high tone, low tone, easy digging, makes life so much easier. Deus Fast, for instance, is a perfect starting curve for your Deus, because I think if people go in too complicated to start with, Lance, it can almost be an adverse effect on their detecting experience.
It is.
Machine. And it put you off that machine, so easily.
Very much so. In fact, it was Gary Blackwell's Gaz who actually really helped me understand the XP and what it was capable of doing. He gave me one-on-one lessons. He talked to me while I was out in the field once, helping me understand it. And once I started understanding the tones, I just stopped looking at the screen completely.
You should never. The one thing I say to people when they first buy a Deus, and any VDI machine, please do not dig on VDI. There's VDI diggers and there's tone diggers, and the tone diggers tend to be the old school people who have been detecting for quite a long time, like me, who were brought up without numbers, who were brought out without VDI. All they were brought up with was tones.
Yeah,
they had a machine. They adjusted their settings. And in the early days, you didn't even have discrimination on some of them. You just had to hear a noise. And as things progressed, you've got iron volume, you had discrimination, you had sensitivity and all this sort of stuff, but you didn't have a VDI. And I find that by not being brought up with VDI, I use VDI only as a guide now. And I say to people at the skill school, look, you've just got a Deus. Put in your program. When you switch the machine on and you balance your machine and you've put your program in, the great thing about the Deus is it's a mobile phone size remote control. Unclip it and put it in your pocket.
Yep.
And for the first month of your detecting life with your Deus, leave that bloody remote control in your pocket and do not look at bloody numbers.
I've always said that the hobby is more like fishing, even though we do call it dirt fishing, as a matter of fact. But it's like fishing. There's different ways of fishing. You got your Garrett's. That'd be like being in a troller with a fish radar on it that is trying to tell you exactly what's under it. When do you put your hook in the water? When do you pull the fish out? And then you got people like myself that really enjoy the sport of it, more like a fly fisherman who will stand in the water and try and coax the fish to go after the bait by, with metal detecting. It's with listening to the tones, understanding the differences or the way the tone is actually beeping. You're very much like me. You started with a tone machine. My second machine was Tesora Cibola, so it was straight tones. That's all it was. Two-tone machine.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly it. And you can. The great thing about the Deus is you can slightly adjust the tones to suit your hearing. So I always say, good, bad signal, and just get used to that for the time being. And because numbers can really mess with your head, Lance. And there's so many different things in the ground that can affect the numbers. The coin could be on edge. The coin or the
Yep.
artifact could be near a piece of trash. It could be near a piece of iron. It could be near a piece of foil. It could be more than one coin mixed in. You
Yep.
know, there could be so many different reasons that if it's an artifact, you know, like a Roman fibula brooch or something, it could be at an angle in the ground that you're only picking up a certain part of it. So and you could look at the screen and it can be jumping around all over the place on numbers, and you walk past it. You know, I've told this story before, and it's a very quick story, but it's quite relevant to what we're talking about. I can always remember being at a rally quite a few years ago now, and I remember being directly behind this bloke, and he was using a dais, and he was messing around with this signal for 5 minutes, backwards and forwards over the target, left, right. He'd walk off, then he'd come back, then he'd check it again. Eventually, he just walked off without even digging it. And it compelled me to walk up to where he was, and I listened to the target, and I thought, well, admittedly, it doesn't sound brilliant, but there is something within the sound that would tell me to dig.
Yeah.
So I chased after him, and I tapped him on the shoulder, and I said, excuse me. I said, I hope you don't mind me saying, but I noticed you playing around with the target back there for quite a few minutes without digging it. Is there any particular reason why? Oh, it's iron. It's rubbish. There's nothing in there. And I said, well, look, I'm not being patronising in any way, shape or form. I'm truly not. But I beg to differ. I think there's something in that signal that isn't iron. And he said to me, be my guest. He said, but you're digging up trash. I said, well, look, I'll tell you what, I'll do a deal. We'll dig it together, and whatever's in there I can keep. Is that fair enough? And he went, yeah, if you want to take a piece of trash home, you do it. So we dug the signal, and fair enough, there it was, piece of iron, a long nail. Iron nail. He looked me straight in the eyes and he goes, told you. I said, 2 secs. Wait, just one cock and pit minute. Rang the coil over the target, and there it was. The most beautiful, high-pitched tone, beautiful signal, VDI reading on the dais of 67.
Oh, jeez.
A perfect hammered coin reading. Admittedly, it could be lead, but anyway. I said, do you want to do the honours or shall I? He said, no, you dig it out, dug it out. And it was an Edward I hammered penny from the 13th century.
Oh, jeez.
Beautiful condition. And he looked at me and I said, well, there you go. And he went, unbelievable. He said, unbelievable. I said, look, here's your coin. He said, no, we made a deal. I said, no, I was never had any intention. It was your target. I said, but I'm just trying to prove a point to you that never dismiss a target because the VDI numbers are telling you something. Listen to the tone. There was a tone within a tone, if that makes sense. The good target was hidden within the bad target, but it was there if you were listening. You were so obsessed with looking at the numbers on the screen, you completely forgot what the audio was telling you. And I did say to him, you spent 5 minutes. I said, you could have dug the target by then. In under 5 minutes, you could have dug the target and found out it was actually something quite nice. But I just wanted to show you that never dismiss a signal because you think the VDI numbers are telling you something. Listen to the target. Listen to what the machine is telling you. And if you have any doubt, I always say this saying to people, when in doubt, dig it out.
Oh, yeah.
Your best discriminator is your spade.
I think you either got that from Gary Blackwell or Blackwell got it from you. He told me the exact same thing.
We've been mates for such a long time that sometimes we cross-reference each other. But I've always say to people, the best way of discriminating, if you have any form of doubt in your head about what a target is, how long does it take to dig it out?
Yeah, exactly.
When in doubt, dig it out and see.
And that's what I tell everybody. If you have to second guess something that you're swinging, never just walk away. If you have a second thought about what you thought you just heard, dig it up. I tell everybody.
Because I know for a fact, if I left a target like that lying in the ground, I wouldn't be able to go to sleep at night. I'd have to go back to the field, find it in the dark and dig it out, because it would be, I'd be all these things would be going around in my head. You've just walked over a gold coin, Cookie. That could have been a gold coin. That, and you've left it there. You're an idiot. Go back.
Yeah, definitely.
And the time it took him playing around with the signal, he could have had it dug out and moved in onto the next target by the time he'd done it.
Definitely could have.
But as I say, that is what it was, a perfect example. As I say, and I've said this before, if I could have had that on camera, it would have been a perfect example for Gaz to use at the skill school as an example of why you should never dig on VDI. Always dig on audio.
Oh, just watch any of my videos. Those are the don't do videos. So, no, I'm just kidding. When now your father, I want to kind of go into this. Your father is Rodney Cook, or was Rodney Cook. Unfortunately, he passed away from cancer. Can you tell us exactly what happened and how that affected you and your family?
Well, my father passed away in 2017. It's not even 2 years ago. Me and my father weren't just father and son. We were best friends. We were best mates. My father was my best mate. We did everything together. As a kid, growing up, he was just my hero. My granddad, my dad's dad, was a hero of mine as well, but my dad, they were just two amazing people. And he not only was my coach, I played, as I said earlier on, I played a lot of football and soccer, as they say in America. My father also played, and for a very short period of time, we actually played in the same team together. Oh, cool. And coached a bit, and he coached me. And we were just, we went to matches together. We went to football together. We played cricket together. We were just, we even went down the pub and had a drink together. And, we would go out and meet up and some of my friends were good friends with my dad was one of the lads, if that makes sense. And he was just a brilliant, brilliant man. And he contracted cancer, and he had a form of skin cancer. And anybody who knows cancer knows that a melanoma skin cancer is the most aggressive form of cancer you can get. Yeah. It is the most, if it gets into your lymph nodes, which are literally the railway tracks of the body, it can spread like wildfire. And if you don't get it early enough, you're in serious, serious trouble. And my father had that, and he was first diagnosed, and they said to him, "You've only got 3 months, I'm afraid, Mr. Cook. There's not a lot we can do. But if you're willing, we have this new treatment called immunotherapy, which is just starting to be released. And it's immunotherapy because it teaches it's therapy for your immune system." Yeah. So what it does is this drug teaches your immune, because cancer isn't seen as anything nasty by the human body. It's not considered enemy cells to the body. Exactly. It's not considered an enemy. It's not considered like the common cold is, or the influenza, where our antibodies attack the cells of the flu virus. Cancer is like a stealth disease. It penetrates the body without the body knowing. And then when it does eventually come across the body's antibodies, it sort of hides itself. So immunotherapy is reprogramming your body's immune system to attack cancer, to see cancer as the enemy and to attack it and to eradicate it. And it actually was working with my father. It was my father's health improved. He was becoming more and more, and the doctors were pleased, and the immunotherapy was working. It's an expensive drug, my lads. You know,
Oh yeah.
It was ridiculously expensive. We're very lucky over here with the National Health Service that we have. So, there's no way as a family we could have afforded it if it wasn't down to the National Health Service. You were talking every time once a month, my father had to go and have the immunotherapy drug put into him, and it went through the system. And every time he went there, it was nearly £8,000.
Oh, jeez.
It's ridiculous, the money.
Yeah.
But this drug was working. It was keeping him going. And for 18 months, he showed all the signs. And every time a cancer cell appeared, the immunotherapy drug would latch onto it and remove it. Because, as I said before, melanoma cancer, skin cancer, is so aggressive, and it can travel around the body quite quickly.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the immunotherapy drug started to lose its battle. It started to lose. The cancer was becoming more and more aggressive, to the point where he was taken into hospital because he wasn't feeling very well. And they were going to up his dosage, and they would have to change his dosage slightly to give him a slightly different variable. And the stress of all of the drugs and all of the treatment, he had a huge cardiac arrest and died of a heart attack whilst in hospital, caused by the cancer.
That's horrible.
And it was the worst pain I've ever felt in my entire life, if that's the right way of saying it. I've had physical pain, broken a leg or but mental pain or non-pain, if that makes sense. This was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. It was as if somebody had ripped my heart out of my chest and shown it to me, still pumping.
I could only imagine.
It was awful. My mum and my father had been together since they were 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
And my father was 72 when he passed away. And it's very raw, and it's still very painful now, as you could imagine. My mother is a tough woman, but she struggles. She's getting better. She struggles immensely with it. It's something you never get over, Lance. You will never, ever get over it. But what you do is you learn to live with the pain. You learn to deal with it. You never forget your father. I can always remember about 6 months after he passed away, absolutely stressed and worried that I would forget what he sounded like, to the point where I was imitating his voice, of the things he would say when I walked through the door of his house to see him. And I would imitate my father's voice to make sure that I didn't forget his sound, what he sounded like, because I haven't been able to watch any family videos that we have of Dad with us, because at the moment it's too raw for that. I've got photos, obviously, of him, but I haven't been able to actually sit down and watch like a family Christmas from a few years ago, because it would be. I still find that too raw now.
Yeah, I could understand.
And I panicked that I was going to forget what he sounded like. You never forget what he looked like, obviously, but you forget the mannerisms a little bit. But I don't. I haven't. I can still hear his voice in my head.
Yeah.
And I talk, and metal detecting was a great way for me to talk to Dad, and still talk to Dad, because I'm on my own in a field with my father. He's always next to me, and I can feel him with me. And I ask him sometimes when I first fire up the machine, and I go, "Come on then, Father, show me where the good stuff is, please. Take me to the good stuff." And occasionally he does, and occasionally he has a laugh with me. It makes me dig up lead and iron and bits of rubbish. And he's having a laugh at me. I'm sure he is, from wherever he is. But it was, and still is, the worst pain you can ever imagine. You know, I can only imagine the worst pain would be losing a child, I would think, or your spouse. But losing my father at such a young age. I know 72 a few years ago would have been considered. It's not considered old now. You know, he was very lucky that he managed to retire early through circumstances, and it gave him 15 years of early retirement that he spent with Mum doing things together, and that was a godsend, really, because at 72, if he'd have retired at 65, he would have only had a few years retirement to enjoy himself. At least he had. Yeah, we lost him way too early.
Yeah, definitely.
But cancer, I call cancer one thing, and that's evil.
Oh, it definitely is. Yeah,
it's an evil disease, and it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't pick or choose. It takes good or bad, black or white, whatever color you are, whatever creed you are, whatever nationality you are,
whatever religion. Yeah,
it will take anybody of all ages. And the sooner we can eradicate this evil disease, the better. And that's how really, the Rodney Cook Memorial Hunt came about. The hospital that he was having treatment is called the Bath Royal United Hospital.
Okay.
It's a big hospital, and it has a big cancer unit. And obviously over here, I don't know if it's the same in the States, but you have money that goes to cancer research, to research and develop new drugs for people with cancer, prolong life, and hopefully find a bloody cure for cancer. Find it somewhere. But cancer care is something that doesn't get as much funding as cancer research and the treatment. Now, the care unit in Bath, the people in there are just absolutely unbelievable. It's the only words I can use. They are unbelievably kind people. From the very first moment you're diagnosed with cancer, where you have the shock, the deniability, the anger, they deal with all of that within the person themselves who have got cancer, to the family who are suffering with them. And it's during his treatment, they look after you, and they take care of you, and they take care of him, or whoever is suffering with cancer. And then they also there for you if you're unfortunate enough to lose a loved one from cancer like we were. And it's the aftercare service. It's everything, Lance, that they do for you was amazing. And when the dust had settled, as such, if that's the right terminology, and the acceptance of the fact that we'd lost Dad had settled, I felt compelled that I wanted to do something to repay the people at the care unit and to try and help them in some way. So that's how I then had this idea come into my head about maybe doing a metal detecting event, a one-day event, say we could raise some money, do it, something like that. And I spoke to some good friends of mine within the hobby, and things really, really sort of like snowballed. Bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, to the point where they said, well, okay, why don't we have a weekender? Why don't we do a week? Why don't we just go the whole hog and have a 3-day rally? And I remember talking to Gary about it, and Gary was saying, it's a good idea, Gaz, but do you realise the work that goes into doing it, and it's going to take a lot of, gargantuan effort to get something like this off the ground. And I said, I've got some good friends, Gaz. I've got some good people in the club that I belong to and all that. And he said, okay, mate. He said, well, you've got my full support. You know that, Cookie, because obviously, I don't know if you're aware, but Gary has had cancer himself.
Yeah.
And Gary's had cancer. So that it means a lot to Gary as well. He wanted to get involved. So a lot of my good friends, Pete Turrell from a shop called Leisure Promotions in the UK.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was on the show a little while ago.
Yeah, Pete's a very close friend of mine. I've known him for many, many years. He wanted to come on board with me. Nigel Ingram from Regden's wanted to come on board with me. Luke Mahoney from Joan Allen Metal Detecting Shop. He wanted to come on board with me. The magazines, Searcher magazine, the Treasure Hunting magazine, all the people that I know over the years and I've got friendly with, they all wanted to be part of it. They all said, what a fantastic idea. And I had a nucleus of some really close friends. There was a guy called Dave Crisp. If you ever want to read up about Dave Crisp, just Google the Froome Horde and you will see all about Dave Crisp.
Okay.
He's the finder of the single largest Roman coin hoard ever found in Britain.
Oh, wow.
He found a pot with 53,000 Roman coins in it. It was
Oh,
amazing.
boy.
But that's another story. And it's an amazing story as well. But he was part of the organising of the rally. And there's a lot of people to talk. There's another really close friend of mine called John Lydell. He is an amazing man as well. Very good mate of mine. Can't speak highly enough of him. And my wife, Lisa, who does all the admin work. She's just an amazing woman. She works all day, comes home and does all of the admin side, the booking in
for
the rally. So she does all of that for me, and I love her to bits, and I can't thank her enough for what she does. Ray Case at the club as well, who does all of he's the treasurer, he does all the finances, and it's just I can't go through everybody, but we all got together and we decided to do this rally last year, and it was an incredible experience doing it. We had an amazing farmer and a generous farmer, donated his whole farm. He donated a huge converted barn to have the evening entertainment in. We had a live band, we had music, we had food stands, we had a bar so we could all have a beer together in the evenings, and there was a wood-fired pizza, and it was an amazing, and the camaraderie, Lance, was unbelievable. There was no detector bashing, as I call it. There was none of this, my detector is better than your detector.
Yeah.
Come and have a go on a test bed and we'll prove how good our detector is and how rubbish yours is. There was none of that. It was a group of 350 to 400 people coming together. Nobody cared what machine they had. And we just had a detecting weekend. Lots of things were found. We had some amazing finds. There was Celtic coins, Roman brooches, medieval hammered coins were found, Saxon coins. It was Saxon brooches. It was an amazing weekend. We had a great site near a Roman town called Cirencester.
Sounds amazing.
It was in a brilliant. We had a brilliant weekend. We did have to deal with a couple of internet trolls.
Of course. To
build up. You're going to get those, but they were eradicated and forgotten about because they don't exist in my life. People like that. They're just,
we've all got them. We know how to deal with them.
Exactly. Ignore them and they go away because they're just life's waste of spaces.
Yeah. They're just wanting to get rises out. So.
Yeah, they'll get their comeuppance in the next life. Trust me, they always do,
and hopefully even this one.
Yeah, and the weekend itself, Lance, was brilliant, and we raised just over £28,000 last year.
Great.
In one, the raffle alone raised probably nearly £8,000 or £9,000. And the donations were just amazing by all the generous shops, metal detecting shops. They were all brilliant. And even local businesses donated raffle prizes. And we had £10,000 worth of raffle prizes to give away over the course of the weekend from the generosity of the metal detecting community.
Amazing.
And local businesses. And the money was just an amazing amount. And I don't know if I'm going to get shot down in flames for saying this, but I think it's the most money ever raised by a metal detecting rally ever.
I I haven't done the research, so I don't know. I got lazy on that one. Yeah. That has to come to producer Luke, producer Dave.
I think that other rallies have raised money, through by doing raffles to raise money. And a very close friend of mine, Kim Clark, he does weekenders purely for charity as well, and he's raised some decent amount of money. But I believe that this 28,000 was the most ever raised by a single rally ever in metal detecting, and
it's amazing.
We have now become it's grown so quickly, and it's gone viral so quickly, Lance, our rally. People were speaking about it all over the world, and the metal detecting community with social media, it suddenly escalated into this, are you going to do it again? After last year, we were inundated with people. Can we please have another one? We loved coming last year. We want to do it again. It's like a drug. We want to have that camaraderie again. Even Gary Blackwell said on a couple of his interviews when he's talked about it, he said to him it was probably the best rally he's been to in a long, long time, purely for the camaraderie that was there. And it was like going back to the old school rallies, where metal detecting over the last few years has become more and more, I suppose, territorial.
Oh yeah. Good word.
Rival companies belittling each other's machines, Facebook groups. Oh, why are you using that machine? You must be an idiot to use that machine. It's rubbish.
Oh, yeah.
And all of this, and I don't want. The one thing I say about my rally, well, it's not really my rally. It's my friends in my rally.
I call it your father's rally, but yeah,
my father's rally. Yes, well, it's my dad's rally, really. And we don't want any of detective politics, magazine politics, to be involved with it.
Wonderful.
Anyone is welcome. Anyone can come. It doesn't matter what metal detector you use. It doesn't matter what metal detecting company you prefer. Just come along and have a great, because we've all got one goal for this rally, and that's to raise as much money as we can for cancer care. And this year, we've decided to go through all the pain of doing it again. And it has been, the support this year has just been, I'm blown away by it, Lance.
Now, I know you guys have a larger goal that you're going for this year. What's the goal that you're going to try and reach this year?
Well, I've got a figure in my head that I want to raise. And I have it locked away. And let's just say it's between 28 and 31,000.
Okay.
That'll give you an idea.
I'm going to say it's going to be 29,561 pounds. No, I'm just kidding.
We want to try and get as close to 30 as we can this year.
Okay.
And we've got a bigger event. We've got over 600 people coming this year.
Oh, wow.
We originally capped it at 500, but I've just gained permissions for some new land adjacent to the land that we've already got. So it's allowed us to open up a few more tickets.
Oh, good.
This year. And we've got some amazing land this year, Lance. We've got a medieval site near a Roman town. We have 2 Roman roads running directly through the site. We have a Saxon village literally next door. We've got Celtic hill fort less than half a mile away from where we're going to be.
Man.
And a Roman settlement literally in the next field along, which we're not allowed in because they've excavated it and they found a Roman cemetery.
I'm just going to have to stop bringing guests out of the UK onto this show because it's driving me insane. And I'm in Germany. I don't even have all that.
I know it is frustrating for some people, and like yourself, who can't get the history that we do have over in our country.
Yeah.
We are blessed as metal detectorists.
Yeah, and
we really
that's the great thing. I mean, I'm in Germany, but it's part of the larger Europe, so there's a lot more space that it covered, and you guys have such an immense history in that small plot of land, and that's why you're able to just get out there. I mean, I'm in the middle of Germany, but there was no Romans here because the barbarians, the hordes, just basically kept them away. So I have their history here, but they weren't much for the metal people. So
yeah, I am very blessed, and obviously where I live in the UK as well is a county called Wiltshire, which is the home of Stonehenge.
Oh yeah.
I live 6 miles from Stonehenge, and I can detect fields quite close to Stonehenge, not within the World Heritage Centre, obviously.
Yeah.
Otherwise, me and you wouldn't be talking now. I'd be in prison.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, but we're very lucky where we. So of course, metal detecting is huge over here, as you know, and it's getting harder and harder to find somewhere to go. But I've been very lucky this year. I've picked up two fantastic landowners. I won't say who they are because it will give away where we're going to be.
No, I know. I agree. I understand.
They are big landowners, and they've given me special permission to detect some fields that they never allow metal detecting on. Whether it's been illegally detected, I don't know. But we've got an amazing site, as I say, and I'm hoping for some. I can put you on the fields, Lance, but I'm not guaranteeing fines. I never do that because that's impossible. You can't guarantee.
No,
fines.
I know. You can't do that.
Come to my rally, I guarantee you a Roman, I'll be in serious trouble. So I'm just basically saying we've got some good land, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to go on it. The rest is up to you.
That's fantastic.
So we've got 650 acres roughly to go out over the course of the weekend. We got best part of 600 detectorists coming. We've got music again. We've got entertainment on the Friday. We've got metal detecting shops coming. Pete Turrell at Leisure Promotions will be coming. We've got Regden metal detectors there. We've got the magazines, Treasure Hunting, The Searcher. We've got coin dealers. We have a company called Black Adder who manufactures spades.
Oh yeah.
They're coming.
Yeah. I know. They're really good friends of mine. The family-owned business.
Oh yeah. They're coming as well. I've known Nathan for many years.
Yeah,
Again,
Nate's a good friend of mine too.
He's coming. Yeah, he's a lovely guy, Nathan, and so they're coming again this year. They were there at the last one, so we've got a bigger site, more people, but we will have higher overheads this year. So, last year we were lucky; we didn't have to hire a marquee. We have to hire a marquee this year. Well, that's £2,500 just to hire that.
Boy.
So, that digs into the funds. You got a event insurance, which is double what it was last year. That's £1,000. You've got to pay for lots of other things. We've got a couple of local businesses who are sponsoring us, and I'm trying to find sponsors at the moment to help us towards the cost of the marquee. So I'm putting an appeal out to local businesses if they fancy helping us. All we need is a donation towards paying the marquee, and everything that goes towards the marquee cuts our overheads down, which means we can put more money in the kitty for the charity.
That's fantastic.
The money goes to the Bath Rural United Cancer Care Unit. It's the Forever Friends Appeal, which is the Forever Friends Appeal are Friends of Royal United Hospital Cancer Care. So we raise money for them, but we've also incorporated this year a children's leukemia cancer.
That is wonderful.
Yeah. The reason I say we've included this is because one of our club members, Ray, he does a lot of the financial side of the rally. He looks after the banking. He looks after the money. He keeps account of the money for us. He keeps it all tip-top. makes it, keeps a running total, overheads, costs, receipts. He keeps everything up together for us. And his grandson, unfortunately, little Scott, is suffering from leukemia.
Oh boy!
And he's undergoing treatment for leukemia, and he's only 7, and he's very brave, and he's a tough little boy. And we are raising money for children's leukemia treatment.
Yeah, it's
and
fantastic.
We're also raising money. Some of the money is going to go to a company, a charity called Starlight. And what they do is they organise for children who are suffering with cancer, maybe terminal, to have once in a lifetime trips. Once in a lifetime, So
yeah, it's kind of like the American Make-A-Wish.
That's exactly it. That's it. It's very similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've incorporated that into this year's event because of Ray and his grandson.
Oh, that's great.
But it's all cancer related, though.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're known for. Cancer related charities. So everything is still connected with the cancer, Lance. So it's all intermingled with that. And so far, we've only had the tickets on sale since the beginning of March. And we've sold 530 tickets already for the event.
That is unbelievable. This is the kind of reach that metal detecting has that I truly love. It's the people in it are really passionate, not just about the hobby, but about each other. We get these trolls, but you know what? Forget them. Leave them where they belong. Kick them out of the groups. Kick them out of your friendship circles. It's the love and the care that we get in the circle that's truly fantastic. And to stand behind something like this is great.
It's very humbling for me because from an idea in my head, it's gone to something that has gone viral all over the world. We have got 2 people coming from Australia because they'd heard of the event. We've got probably 6 or 7 people coming from the States. We've got 4 or 5 coming from Canada. Numerous amount of people coming from Holland and Finland, France. We've got people coming from all over the UK, and the messages of support that we get are just mind-blowing. I can remember when we first put the advert out there in social media, and literally straight away I was being bombarded with messages going, "This is the one I've been waiting for. This is the one. Thank God the Rodney Cook Memorial Hunt is back on again. This is the one I've been holding off booking anything until I've seen when this. I thank God they've done it. Absolutely great news." And it's people linking other people into that, and all of a sudden it's boom, 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 and we're hit after hit after hit, and then Lisa's computer just went mental. There was just smoke coming out of the back of it because it was just. I thought it was going to blow up at one point because the amount of emails that were just coming through. At one point, I was watching the computer, and this is no joke, Lance. It was bing, 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 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Within an hour, we'd had 70 emails pop through of people wanting to book.
Oh, that's just wonderful.
And the power, social media can be very, very good.
Oh, yeah.
It can also be extremely bad. But I think the good outweighs the bad at the moment, because if it wasn't for social media, we'd have nowhere near the amount of bookings that we've got now. And I think social media has a place. I'm not a lover of social media in any way, shape or form, in lots of ways. Certainly within metal detecting, social media has had an adverse effect to our hobby in certain ways, but a brilliant effect in others. And I don't really want to go down that road at the moment, but social media has been brilliant for my dad's memorial rally because it's allowed us to advertise it all over the world within a click of a finger.
Yeah.
You hit that enter button, it goes all over. And if you share it within enough groups, it can go viral within a few hours. And yes, social media can bring out the worst of people. and it can have an adverse effect in certain ways. But if you use it for the good, like we've done, it can actually help you massively. And it's helped us to promote our rally. And the support again this year has been absolutely unbelievable. And we're on another high at the moment. Things are ticking over really well. We've got a good nucleus of people behind us again. We've got a good group of people, and things are moving very, very well. So it's going to be held in September, the 6th to the 8th of September.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, as I say, it's near another Roman town called Bath. And the way things are going, Lance, I can see a few more weeks it will be sold out.
Yeah, I can definitely see it. I've been, listening to how fast it's been selling out. I think it's going to be sold out. I think next year you're going to have to rent out an entire country. But
it's getting like that. It really is. And I, the one thing I can say to you is the Rodney Cook Memorial Hunt is already 2020 is already underway.
Oh, wow.
We have a site for next year already in place.
That's fantastic. That's good.
It's all done and dusted. The farmer is signed up. He's in there with us. We have 650 acres for next year already signed, sealed, and delivered.
Now we have
anybody out there listening. You're gonna come back next year, guys, because we've already got a site booked.
Well, I'll try and make it out next year as well myself. Hopefully, I'll be on my retirements then. But now we got later on in the show, for those that are listening to this on the edited version, we're going to have Professor Mark Beresford coming in from the Bath Center himself, and he's going to be talking about the new building that they are actually creating that is solely for cancer patients, and exactly how this money is going to be going toward it as well. Really good talk with him. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this. Now, how can people make the...
It's amazing. Sorry, Lance. It's an amazing new building, to be fair, and it's incredible, and that's exactly what we're going to be. A lot of the money that we raise goes towards that, and obviously, Mark will talk a lot more about it. But it is so high tech, this building. It's amazing, and and the one thing I didn't say was that because of last year and the amount that we raised, we have been honoured with a cancer ward room, is being named after my father.
Oh, that is wonderful. That's great news. I didn't even know this one.
It's going to be called the Rodney Cook Memorial Rally room.
Oh, that is...
It will be above the door.
Oh, that is fantastic.
It's a treatment room, and it's going to be named after my father, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, so a couple of the big questions that I have for you. For listeners that want to make a donation that aren't able to make it out there, is there going to be a way that they can make donations?
Yes, there's a Just Giving page. Just search Rodney Cook on the Just Giving website. And I think it's gone live. A friend of mine, Paul Norris, he organises the Just Giving page. He can arrange. All you've got to do is just go online and make a donation that way.
Okay.
The other thing you can do is you can make a direct donation to us. All you have to do is send an email to charitydetectingevent@hotmail.com, which is also the booking, the way to book for the rally. But if you want to make a donation, if you send us an email and ask, we will give you details of the bank account, and if somebody wants to just make a direct payment to the bank with their reference, they can, or they, the old-fashioned way of sending a check, they can do that. But yeah, you've got the Just Giving page, which would probably be the best way of doing it, because that goes directly to the hospital then.
Okay.
If they want to do that.
All these links will be available on gdapod.com. including links to everything that is responsible. That basically, I guess your wife Lisa is responsible for keeping up. But all the
she's also responsible for keeping me in deck as well.
Well, that's what our wives are for. She's 3/4 of the brain in this bunch. So on my side, at least. But
she does everything. She's pretty much my rock.
Yeah. Really. No, trust me. Mine is Gibraltar. It's just wonderful. But definitely go to the GDA pod and find out all the links that are for this. We're putting up a whole page for this. It'll be up forever, so don't expect this page to be disappearing. It will be available at any point for anybody to see. We'll even have some photos from the event come in and uploaded as it happens.
I'll get the links over for you for the Just Giving page. You can probably get the link yourself, Lance, direct from Facebook, from our Facebook group, Facebook page. We don't have a website as such, but if you just put into Facebook Rodney Cook Memorial Rally, our Facebook page comes up. I can forward on to you all of the links for that.
Okay,
as well.
Super.
And it's very easy. And the Just Giving page as well. Obviously, I'll send you the link for that. So if they want to make a donation to that, they can. And as I say, if they just go on to the Facebook, if they're on Facebook, if you go on to the Rodney Cook Memorial Rally Facebook page, there is a link already on there directly to the Just Giving as well. So it's all on there. If you want to make a donation, by all means, every little bit is highly appreciated. So it's there's a lot of ways to make a donation, as I say, but if not, just the email address I'll put is up there as well. I'll send you that. They can contact us directly if they can't make it, but Fantastic. They still want to make a donation. Or you can just go on to the Bath Royal United Forever Friends Appeal Facebook page and website and make a donation directly to them as well. You can do that.
That's super. Then we'll definitely be hooking this up, and I'll be in touch with you probably as long as there's any kind of a good connection out there on the weekend of the event, and we'll bring you onto the show live and talk with you, and maybe get Gaz on here, and maybe some of the other special guests that'll be showing up.
Well, Gary will be there. Some of the other guys. In fact, I was only out today with Gary. We were out metal detecting together today.
You were telling me that you guys are pretty much attached at the hip anyway.
we are. Me and Gary go back a long way. We're very close friends. Gary calls me his best mate, and I call Gary my best mate. We are. We've got each other's backs all the time. We look out for each other. And I've known him, as I say, a long, long time, and he's a very close friend of mine, and I have the uttermost respect for him. He's a very funny guy as well. Unlike his videos that you see, straight-laced Gaz, I know a different side to him. He has me in complete hysterics when we're out in the fields. We've been rolling around with laughter so many times over the years, and we have such great fun. In fact, if you look at his latest video he's put up, and Garden's son is his YouTube name. If you look him up on his latest video, there is an actual video that he's done of us just having a metal detecting day in the field. There was me, Gaz, Neil, and Steve, and he's had to bleep a few bits out because there's some swearing in it. So we had a great day, and then you might have seen it, Lance. I'm not sure if you've seen it yet.
No, not yet. I've been having a couple busy days. Now, off the subject, with you, I know working with Gaz on quite a few videos. When are we going to see the blooper reels being released? And
well, there is one. If you search on Gary's videos, it's a hard one to find, but it's one that we did a couple of years ago where we are doing the 5 worst detector swings. And it was an idea that we had, that we were out one day in a rally and we were looking at some of these people detecting, and And we were laughing our heads off, thinking, how do these people find anything? You know, the
Yeah.
coil's like 2 foot off the ground.
Yeah.
It's not grounded. They're detecting satellites. They were so high up, honestly, and they're detected so fast. So I said to Gary, I said, come on, let's do a sort of comedy video where we are imitating the 5 worst detector swings that we've seen, but have a slightly serious note involved where we're saying to people, look, a good swing can make all the difference to finding things. So we called them things like walking the dog, where you just don't swing, you just walk straight into your detector. We were calling them the absolutely no chance, where the coil is like pointing upwards and 2 foot off the ground. We called one that I'm really desperate for, the toilet swing, where you see the person walking across the field at like 90 miles an hour.
It's so weird. I've seen all these in festival videos.
If you watch our video, if you search for Gary's video, the 5 worst detector swings, I can't remember what he called it, but Gaz will probably put a link up if he's listening. He'll find it and put a link up for it, make it easier for you to find. If you watch that video of ours, that you will laugh your head off, because you will recognize every single one of the swings that we've done. But what we also did was there's a bloopers bit at the end of the video, and it's because Gary, I frustrate the hell out of Gary, because sometimes I can take 4 or 5 takes to get something, and Gareth is saying, for God's sake, Cookie, all you got to do is say that. Just say it, Cookie. And I'm trying, and then something else happens, and for God's sake, let's do it again. Come on. But this time it was Gaz. He couldn't. One of the things he was trying to say was detector swing or swing technique, and he couldn't say it for love. He kept calling it. He kept saying something else, and instead of saying swing technique, he was saying sweep, and he was getting more and more frustrated with it. And he's put some bloopers at the end of the video, and it's hilarious. It's so funny because we just I'm just laughing thinking about it now, because it was just a great bit of fun. But we do have, when we do these videos, we do have so much fun together when we're making them, because obviously what you see the final take, but what you don't see is the build up to it and how we. And as I say, I can frustrate Gaz sometimes, because all he wants to do is get it done, and I'm mucking about. And but he's always got a little giggle a little glint in his eye when he says it, because I know he's just kidding himself. And I can always remember a really funny one was we went to Belgium, and we were doing the Pascal Lebrun Rally in Belgium together, and it was an XP sponsored rally. You might have heard of it.
I think this was late last year, wasn't it?
That's it. Yeah, and there's a scene in it where basically the Pascal Lebrun Rally is just loads of Belgians and French getting drunk. That's basically it. They go there. They start drinking at 7. It's mainly token hunting. They start drinking at 7 in the morning, and they're still going for 7 o'clock the next morning. And me and Gary were watching them slowly getting drunker and drunker and drunker, intoxicated as the day went on.
Yeah.
And there's a very funny bit where I'm walking up the field and the token hunt starts, and I'm literally stampeded by about 150 detectorists, drunk, all trying to get to the token field as quickly as possible. And Gaz just is killing himself with laughter, because I'm literally just stampeded by this herd of detectorists, and they almost trample me to death. And then I get involved with the token hunt, only using your pinpointers, and I'm just literally, these children just jump on my back. Literally, I'm crawling around trying to get involved with this pin hunt, and it was just a great fun weekend. And then Gary's trying to be serious at this one point, and he's talking about the rally. But as he's walking past his car, he looks to the right, and there is this bloke so drunk he's passed out on Gary's car, literally. And Gaz looked at the camera, and he's so trying to be professional and talk, but he's laughing his head off at the same time. And that is the side of Gary that I see every time we go out metal detecting together.
Yeah, I gotta meet with you guys at some point.
we both just love our time when we're detecting together as friends, and we put the world to right. We talk about man stuff, load of rubbish. We just talk crap the whole time we're out in the fields. We wind each other up. We have a laugh. But Gaz loves that more than anything. Gary does his videos, and he's very professional at his tutorials and his educational videos and his Deus training. But really, deep down, Gaz is just a detectorist, and he loves detecting with his friends without the camera, like we did today. And we had a great fun day today. And we go out most Sundays together. And sometimes Neil joins us, our other good friend, and Steve. He's known as, you'll see him on some of the videos, as Murty. And, Dirty Murty, we call him, actually. And it's for obvious reasons. He always manages to get himself muddy, even on a dry day. He still seems to get muddy. But he loves that, Gaz, and it's away from everything, and it's just having a bit of fun. And we had a great day today, and we had some good finds as well, and we were at quite an old medieval site today, and we found a few really old tokens from 1700s, and I found a Roman fibula brooch, a couple of Roman coins. Gary found a Saxon clothes fastener and a Tudor clothes fastener and a few other bits. So we had Neil had a few bits and pieces as well today, trade tokens. So we had a great day, and it was good fun. And as I say, that's the side of Gary that doesn't come out as such on the videos, but it's the side that I see, and it's the Gary Blackwell that I love. And he is the most generous, down-to-earth, easygoing, fantastic mate you could ever wish for, really. He's probably listening to this now going, Cookie, shut up.
He's probably going, how much further does he want to put his nose up there?
Exactly. That's exactly what he said. He's after something. He thinks he's getting a pint. He's having another, But I can't speak highly enough of him. And what he did for my dad's rally last year with helping and sponsoring and giving raffle prizes. And not just Gaz, there was everybody else involved. There was Pete Turrell from Leisure Promotions. Pete is the most, if you know Leisure Promotions, they're a metal detecting shop in the UK. And Pete is the most generous man you've ever known. What he did for me last year and for Dad's rally was incredible. He gave raffle prizes, he sponsored the event, and he did lots of other things that he didn't want anybody else to know, but he did as contributions towards the event and donation wise. And I can't speak highly enough of Pete and everybody else who contributed, Lance. They were all so generous, and they're all going to be doing it again. And our rally's got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's just become a way of me and my friends within the hobby to give something back to a very generous cause. And Gary, as I say, I can't speak highly enough of him for what he does and for what he does for me. And he's helped me over the years, and he's took me under his wing to a certain degree for certain things. And when I lost Dad, he was there and he helped, and because he's had cancer himself. And yeah, it's just, he's a brilliant guy. And as I say, he's probably thinking, you can take your nose out my ass now, Cookie. But but he deserves it. He deserves it,
Yeah, he's a very hard worker.
Yeah, long may it continue, because, as I say, his videos teach a lot of people, how to use the dais properly. And,
Oh yeah.
And even his I knew him when he still does his Gary's Detecting website before he worked for XP, and that's how I knew him. So, as I say, we go back a long way, but he'll be there in September, as he's promised. And and I'm really looking forward to it this year, because last year was stressful to a certain degree. This year is, but not as stressful, because we know what to expect, and we learned a lot from last year, which we've moved forward into this year. And some of the things that we didn't quite do well enough last year, we're now changed, and the things that we did well last year, we're doing better this year. So we've, it's still difficult, as I say. Lisa, my wife, is brilliant. She does so much for me, and as I say, on top of her working, she also comes home and does all the administration side and bookings. And without her, I'm crap with all that. Gary, that I'm rubbish at computers and things. I only have to look at a computer and it'll blow up. Really.
Well, that's Microsoft.
I'm surprised
anyway.
you haven't gone off the air. Because, as I say, for some reason, me and technology don't really mix that well. That sort of information technology. I'm rubbish. So, without Lisa and everybody else who contributes, it would still be an idea in my head. But hopefully this year, it will go as smoothly as last year, and we'll raise a lot of money again.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like it. I was just looking at the website, the one that you just sent me the link, the Just Giving, and it's currently sitting at 1,565 pounds.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
so
that's the one.
Yeah, it looks like everything's going good. Well, we're going to have to cut this short. For the people that are listening live, I can't tell you how many are on live right now. It seems like my settings are all messed up right now, but it is streaming, so I know it's live. Thank you for listening. For those who are listening to the edited, we got some great interview with Mark Beresford coming in, and he's going to be talking about the bath. Thank you so much, Gary, for coming onto the show and talking. This is truly a wonderful event and a wonderful memorial hunt that's going to be coming up September 6th to the 8th of this year. We will be coming back to you and talking about this during the course of the next couple months, and while you guys are out there, if you got time to come on.
Brilliant.
And
definitely, Lance.
Yeah, I think I got a couple friends of ours coming out there. I believe the guys from Archaeology Metal Detecting Magazine are showing up. Dave and Luke.
Dave's going to be there. Dave's going to be there. They're going to be doing some streaming from there as well.
Yep.
They're actually going to be at the hunt. They're going to have their own place in the marquee, and so that'd be awesome. And thank you so much for having me on. I've really enjoyed our chat, Lance. And hopefully we can do a bit more of a catch up near the time progression of how we're doing and things. And like you said, maybe during the course of the weekend, we can perhaps come to do a live sort of like feed.
Yeah.
From there, I'm sure we'll be able to do it. Gaz will be there, so perhaps between the two of us, we can put something on. And thank you for your support and and all you're doing. I know it means a lot to you as well. And you've said to me, before, this means an awful lot to you, and you want to support it. And I can only thank you for that, because it's people like yourself who help us so much. And thank you, for what you've done, Lance, and thank you for having me on. As I say, it's been a real pleasure.
It's been great having you on, and I just definitely want to really help you guys out and see if we can really break through that goal that you're looking for. And
it would be awesome, wouldn't it? It really would. It would be fantastic if we could beat last year's total. Then we'd have a big total to beat next year.
Yeah, then you have to make a bigger check for him this year.
Oh yes, yeah.
All right, so we'll be back with Mark Beresford shortly after me and 42 talk a little bit. So let me get back to current days in the studio. Hey, everybody. Hope you really enjoyed that talk with Gary Cook. I really enjoyed it myself. That the dude is just an absolute fantastic treasure. Him and Gary Blackwell, or XP Gary, as most of you know him, two real treats. Love both of them. Make sure you head on over to gdapod.com. You'll find the links to the Rodney Cook Memorial Rally right there on the main page. There's a poster for it. Click the poster. It'll take you right to the page that we have all the links that are important for this hunt. So you can make donations. You can do whatever you can do to help raise the money. We have till September, and we want to break that 30,000 pound mark. So let's try and do that. With your guys' care and your guys' help, we can actually do that. Make sure you share it with everybody you know. It doesn't have to be just a metal detecting community, everybody. Let's send this out to everybody. Let's raise some money and help build a new cancer treatment center with the help of the mouth and with the help of word of mouth of metal detectors around the world. With your guys' help, we can reach that goal and we can surpass it really easy. All right, let's do it. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Please help share it out. Like I said, gdapod.com. Click the poster for the rally to get all the information. You can also find a lot of really good stuff on the GDA Pod website. I have a calendar there that shows the dates and everything else that's going to be coming up. Make sure you do that. You can also listen to every single past episode of the podcast. That is a lot of podcasting to listen to. I don't even know how many hours. There's over 100 hours of just me and Dave just sitting here talking in your ear. So make sure you give that a listen. You can download every single one of them for free. You can even get the Let's Dig It Up song from me for free from there as well. So make sure you do that. Let's spread the love. All right, everybody. That's it for this week. This has been a long one. Hope I didn't put you to sleep with the long episode. I know it's not normal to do this long. In fact, I try to steer away from it. But we'll be back to an absolute normal show next week. And it'll be a really good one. Me and 42 talking about gold that's been found in the South. And by the South, I mean Australia. So we'll see you guys out on the fields. Let's dig it up, y'all.
Let's dig it up, y'all.